So far we've got this 1976 KZ900, or as a lovely British man told us, we should call it the KZ. But yeah, we're pretty proud of this one so far. We'll see, but it was nearly flawless when we got it and we saw it in Vegas. And we actually, this could be a bit of a spoiler alert, but we started it up right then and there on the floor. And this actually, the fun thing about this one is we learned a little trick about maybe putting in airplane gas. We're gonna look at it a little bit more, but one of the guys claims that's a good trick. So this one, like I said, 1976 KZ900. You can tell it's a 1976 because that's the only year they did the KZ900. Before that, it was called Z1, and then after that, it's called KZ1000. But obviously, it's a 900cc inline 4-cylinder, so it's very similar to the other one where it's a 750. We did have our eye on this one. So this one was, I would say, top 3, top 5, whatever. We were really thinking that we liked it. I mean, the paint is fantastic. It's just in really good shape. You could probably hear the throttle snap back on this one. It's just flawless. You get a good idea of what shape the carburetor's in, what shape the cables are in, how recently it's been ridden. People will say, oh, runs great, but then you literally can't move the throttle. How's that possible if it runs great, if it's obviously not rideable? So everything on this felt fantastic. The gauges look fantastic. The paint, everything is just nearly perfect. And it was great. I mean, all the information we got on this, so we went over to it and you kind of babysit it after you get it and you look at it and stuff, and a guy came over and said, oh, this used to be my motorcycle, but I sold it to a guy on eBay. And so he had a little bit of information for us and told us the guy that we got it from, and so we wound up talking to him. So it was a great experience all around on this one. So we're pretty excited about this one. And this is the one we did actually start on the floor. So we know it starts and we know it sounds great. So a lot of questions answered on that one. So actually what we do know about this one is the guy that sold this, like I said, bought it really recently off of eBay. And so they said, one guy said he had 400 motorcycles, another guy said he had 1,000 motorcycles. So this guy's got a ton of motorcycles, mostly old Japanese stuff. Basically, you've got no information to go on this one, where you've got these tags, and I mean, look what it says, top speed 120 miles. I mean, this is like the world's most basic stuff, dual overhead cams. I mean, that's just like, you're barely even scratching the surface of what this motorcycle is. So I don't really know why they had so little information on it. But when you're there, there's probably 20 KZ900s. And so you can kind of compare the two and everything, and you don't know what you're looking at and stuff like that. Really, it's the condition of this one. It looked like it would go down the road no problem. So anyway, we rate the throttle and the clutch and the brakes, the tires, that kind of stuff. Just look at it overall and give it all a rate, because you really just, what you want is as much information as possible when it comes up on the block. And I timed it out, it's about an average of 70 seconds before when they start and when it's sold. So you need to have all your information in your notes looking at it. Anyway, this is the one where the guy had said that it had airplane fuel in it, and we smelled it at the auction and just thought, it smells fantastic, let's go try to give it a start up. And of course, in the 60-degree weather of Vegas and the warm building, it started right out, no problem. The funny thing is, we sort of happen to have like the evolution of things in this garage. But up on the block is the Bonneville, so it's a 650 twin from Triumph. It's British, and it leaks, as you can tell by my sawdust chips. And so at some point in time, Honda was only making smaller motorcycles, like 450 was the biggest one. And so in 1969, they made the 750, which is what that eventually became there. It's a 76, but sort of unchanged until 76 or 75. But anyway, so they come out with the 750 to compete with the 650 and like officially enter as a big motorcycle. So the 1969 CB750, and it's an inline 4-cylinder. Now at this exact same time, Kawasaki was working on a 750 inline 4-cylinder. So because that Honda beat them to it, they had to go back to the drawing board. So it took them 4 years or whatever until they came out in 1973, came out with the 900. So it's sort of you can kind of see the arms race thing happening where you have 650, 750, and then Kawasaki realizes 750 is not going to cut it now. We can't just come out with the exact same Honda copy, which they were developing kind of in parallel. But so now you've got the 900, and so the 1973 Z1 Kawasaki 900 was like a big significant jump. That was the biggest thing at the time. And then they made that, like I said, 73 up until 75. And then in 76, I don't know why, you just have this weird year where it's a 76 KZ900. So everything that says KZ900 is a 76, and then they eventually moved up to 1,000. So then the year after this is 1,000. So this is really a 1 year only motorcycle. And for some reason, the prices are lower, and people want the Z1, and some people want the KZ1000, but you wind up getting a kind of the sweet spot as far as prices. And the interesting thing is the Super Sport is that same way, where it's just not as popular. I don't know why, but people don't like the Super Sport. It has a slight amount more horsepower. It has a 4-into-1 exhaust. Just doesn't look like your standard CB750, so maybe that's it, but who knows? Maybe in a couple years it will be the more popular one. But yeah, so that's the idea behind the Kawasaki's and why they're sort of significant, because they were their answer to the CB750, which we all know is like this, monumental change in motorcycling. But so right in here, when we're looking at these things, I'm not gonna touch it. I guess it was just running, but little details that you can really see that this person went like the extra mile to make things nicer. And this specifically is that these exhaust collars, they just look perfect. And probably on the 750, if you go look at it, I bet you'll see a little bit of rust there. And the reason is, to take this off is no small thing. You really have to kind of either take the exhaust apart. Sometimes you really can't do it. So if someone goes the extra mile to really make sure that this part is clean, either they've kept it clean the whole time, or they really took their time when it came to restoring it.